We begin tonight in a town few of us had ever heard of before today, Sutherland Springs in Texas. There this morning, our time, a 26-year-old named Devin Kelly walked into the First Baptist Church and opened fire. He killed 26 people. He was wearing tactical gear, including a ballistic vest, and carrying an assault rifle with multiple magazines of ammunition. What hatred drove him is not yet known, but his victims include children and a pregnant woman. 35 days after another white man with no obvious motive killed 58 concertgoers in Las Vegas, this is yet another example of a contagion no Donald Trump travel ban will solve. We begin tonight with our reporter Bridget Burke on what happened in Sutherland Springs.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott describing the aftermath of the largest mass shooting in Texas history.
Unfortunately, I'm sad to tell you, to confirm, at least at this moment in time, there are 26 lives that have been lost. We don't know if that number will rise or not. All we know is that's too many.
Officials say 26-year-old Devin Kelly opened fire during a morning service at the First Baptist Church in the tiny town of Sutherland Springs, home to a small community of just a few hundred residents. Freeman Martin from the Texas Department of Public Safety described what happened next.
That suspect crossed the street to the church, exited his vehicle, and began firing at the church. That suspect then moved to the right side of the church and continued to fire. That suspect entered the church and continued to fire. As he exited the church, a local resident grabbed his rifle and engaged that suspect. The suspect dropped his rifle, which was a Ruger AR assault type rifle, and fled from the church. Our local citizen pursued the suspect at that time.
Police say Kelly later drove off the road and was found dead in his car. It's unclear whether he killed himself, was shot by police, or by one of two bystanders who pursued him after the shooting. Outside the church, friends, family and fellow parishioners gathered to grieve. Pastor Frank Pomeroy and his wife were away when the shooting happened, but among the 26 people killed was their 14-year-old daughter Annabelle and other children aged as young as 5. A pregnant woman with 3 children was also amongst the dead.
As a state, we are dealing with the largest mass shooting in our state's history. There's so many families who've lost family members. Fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters. The tragedy, of course, is worsened by the fact that it occurred in a church, a place of worship, where these people were innocently gunned down. We mourn their loss, but we support their family members.
US President Donald Trump, speaking from Tokyo on the second day of a 12-day Asian tour, described the massacre as a murderous attack.
This act of evil occurred as the victims and their families were in their place of sacred worship. We cannot put into words the pain and grief we all feel, and we cannot begin to imagine the suffering of those who lost the ones they so dearly loved. Our hearts are broken. But in dark times, and these are dark times, such as these, Americans do what they do best. We pull together. We join hands, we lock arms, and through the tears and through the sadness, we stand strong, oh so strong.
The massacre comes just weeks after the worst mass shooting in US history left 58 dead at an outdoor concert in Las Vegas. The shootings continue to stir a years-long national debate over whether easy access to firearms is contributing to the trend. For Checkpoint, Bridget Burke.